Welcome to page 9, where we'll be delving into our 8-page print edition, going beyond the headlines to bring you the story behind the story. This weekend, about 40 college Democrats shipped off to Louisville, Kentucky to campaign for Democratic Senate candidate Alison Grimes. And intrepid Hatchet reporter Victoria Sheridan joined them on the campaign bus, where when they got to Louisville, college Democrats were knocking on about 5,000 doors in just one weekend, all for Alison Grimes. So you got the full kind of political reporter experience this weekend. That must have been so much fun. What did you learn about political campaigning? You know, what didn't you expect? And also, what did some of the people you were covering not expect when they got there?
Yeah, so a lot of us had never really experienced something like this before. I know a lot of the freshmen who were canvassing for the first time thought that campaigning meant that they were going to rallies or holding up signs and stuff like that. They didn't know they were going around knocking on doors and talking to people. Mm-hmm. So that was something that I learned about how they kind of like got the message out about the candidates by, you know, just talking to people in person and visiting them and asking them questions about what they wanted to know about.
Right, and that's not actually as straightforward as people might think, right? They had to get a little bit of training once they got there?
Exactly. So there were certain topics that they were told to bring up and certain things that they told they shouldn't discuss, which a lot of people didn't realize at first.
Right, and I know that one of the things that they had to be a little bit careful of was not mentioning President Barack Obama too much, which is interesting. He's a Democrat, Alison Grimes is a Democrat, but in Kentucky things aren't so simple, right?
Yeah, so being a Democrat in Kentucky is different than being a Democrat in other places, and a lot of students weren't anticipating that. One of the issues that she kind of represents is she does a lot of work for coal miners, and some of President Obama's efforts on behalf of the environment don't really favor coal miners in Kentucky. So They kind of differ on issues like that.
And some of the students actually showed up with Obama shirts, right?
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, a lot of the college Democrats have these shirts that say Obama on the back of them. They're almost like baseball jerseys. They say Obama with the number 44. And so they all brought their Obama shirts to campaign in, only to learn that they should not be connecting Alison Grimes.
Luckily, as you were telling me earlier, the weather was cold enough that they wore sweatshirts over, so that's all good news.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to know about the canvassing, so you said that people were actually able to kind of convince people, which is something that they weren't really expecting, a lot of the GW students on the trip.
Yeah, so a lot of people thought that, you know, someone wouldn't just come to the door. They got a lot more people who came to the door and spoke to them and actually wanted to learn about Alison Grimes, and they didn't think that they would actually be able to educate people, but they felt like they accomplished that.
Right, well, it's a really interesting story. Everybody should really check it out over on the GW Hatchet website. It's a really great story. There's a little bit of goats. There's some interesting, fun tidbits in there that you should definitely check out. So thank you very much. That's all for us on page 9, and we'll catch you next week.